I am feeling something I thought I would never know again. For the third time, I am a rookie, first in 1992, after the Oryx Blue Wave drafted me out of high school. Then, in 2001, I became a rookie again at 27, when the Seattle Mariners signed me. As I look over here now and see men like Rod Carew, George Brett, and Tony La Russa, I realize I'm a rookie again. Thank you for welcoming me so warmly into your great team. I hope I can uphold the values of the Hall of Fame.
In the quiet suburbs of Kasugai, Japan, a 7-year-old boy gripped a wooden bat with a quiet determination that would one day reshape the world of baseball. His father, Nobuyuki Suzuki, had constructed a makeshift batting cage in their backyard. And every evening after school, the sharp, rhythmic crack of bat meeting ball echoed through the neighborhood. At the time, no one could have imagined that this daily ritual would go on to forge one of the greatest contact hitters the sport has ever seen. Ichiro Suzuki wasn't born into a family of athletes or baseball royalty. His father worked long hours as a machinist, and his mother made a modest living as a seamstress. But while the family lacked wealth, they were rich in discipline and devotion, especially Nobuyuki, who didn't just encourage Ichiro's dream, he engineered it. Night after night, he stood in that backyard throwing pitch after pitch, watching each swing like a master craftsman inspecting a blade. Together, they were forging something extraordinary. The training was relentless. While other children spent their free time playing video games or riding bikes, Ichiro was in that cage, hour after hour, perfecting a swing that would eventually become legendary. Nobuyuki didn't demand greatness through harshness. He demanded it through repetition. They practiced until Ichiro's hands blistered and bled, until his legs gave out beneath him, until hitting a baseball became as natural to him as breathing. By the time he was 12, Ichiro's name was already spreading through local youth baseball circuits. Scouts and coaches began whispering about a boy with an odd, hypnotic swing, something that didn't fit any existing mold. While other players were drilled to stand still and drive the ball with power, Ichiro had crafted something entirely unique. His swing was more of a motion, a rhythmic pendulum that generated incredible bat speed and astonishing precision, all while maintaining perfect balance. It wasn't raw power, it was poetry. When Ichiro enrolled at Ikadai Maiden High School, baseball wasn't just his passion, it had become his identity. The school had a strong baseball program, but Ichiro's skills transcended the team's usual standards. His high school coach, initially skeptical of the unorthodox swing, quickly realized he was witnessing something truly rare. Ichiro didn't just hit the ball, he manipulated it. He placed it with surgical precision, sending it to wherever he wanted on the field. It was more than talent. It was control, intent, genius. In his senior year, professional scouts began circling like hawks. Yet Ichiro's path to stardom hit its first major fork. Japanese baseball tradition valued conformity, and Ichiro's style challenged every norm. Scouts questioned whether his approach could succeed professionally. Many urged him to adjust his mechanics, to become more traditional. Ichiro's answer was firm. He would succeed on his own terms, or not at all. In 1991, the Oryx Blue Wave selected Ichiro in the 4th round of the Nippon Professional Baseball draft. It marked the beginning of a career that would challenge every existing assumption about what a baseball player should look like and how he should play. His early years in the pros weren't smooth. Older players viewed him with skepticism. Coaches tried to force him into a more conventional mold, but Ichiro didn't flinch. He observed, he learned, and most of all, he refined. What Ichiro had wasn't just raw talent. He possessed an unshakable belief in his vision and an obsessive drive to master it. He watched film like a scholar preparing for an exam, not just of himself, but of pitchers, of legends, of every movement that could give him an edge. Every at-bat became a psychological chess match, and Ichiro was already thinking 3 steps ahead. Then in 1994, everything changed. Something inside Ichiro crystallized. It was as if all the years of sacrifice and repetition had fused into pure brilliance. That year, he erupted onto the scene with a .385 batting average and shattered Japan's professional baseball record with 210 hits. His bat had become an extension of his mind. He didn't just make contact with the ball, he commanded it. Watching Ichiro at the plate was like watching a calligrapher work. Fluid, elegant, deliberate. Line drives shot through infield gaps like beams of light. Bloops and softly placed singles danced just out of reach of diving gloves. He wasn't overpowering pitchers. He was outthinking them, outmaneuvering them, redefining what hitting meant. For the next 7 seasons, Ichiro dominated Japanese baseball with such consistency and grace, it felt like fiction. He won 7 consecutive batting titles, 7 Gold Gloves, and 3 MVP awards. His averages were surreal, .342, .356, .387. He didn't just break records, he transcended them. He wasn't just the best player in Japan, he had redefined the standard entirely. Yet even as he stood at the pinnacle of Japanese baseball, Ichiro's ambition stretched across the Pacific. Major League Baseball was still the ultimate proving ground, and the question began to circulate. Could this uniquely talented, unconventional player thrive in the world's most competitive league? Many doubted it. Japanese players had rarely succeeded in the majors. The pitchers were faster, the competition was fiercer, the expectations overwhelming. But Ichiro didn't back down. In November 2000, he made the decision that would define his legacy. He would go to America. He would test himself against the best. The Seattle Mariners posted the necessary bid to negotiate with him. And when Ichiro stepped off the plane in Seattle, he didn't just carry a bat. He carried the weight of a nation's hopes and expectations. The pressure was unimaginable. Japanese media documented his every move. American sports writers predicted failure. Language barriers turned everyday conversations into challenges. At 27, an age when most players are entering their peak, Ichiro was essentially starting over. Spring training in 2001, however, changed everything. Mariners coaches and players looked on in stunned silence as this slender outfielder put on a clinic. His swing was different, short, fast, compact, but the results were undeniable. He sprayed line drives with machine-like precision. He beat out grounders with blazing speed. He gunned down base runners from right field with jaw-dropping throws. He wasn't just making a statement, he was rewriting the script. On opening day 2001, Ichiro stepped into the batter's box at Safeco Field. Every eye in the stadium and every camera in Japan was fixed on him. And when he lined a clean single to right field in his first at-bat, it was more than a hit. It was a declaration that excellence knows no borders, no language, no limits. What followed was one of the greatest rookie seasons in MLB history. Ichiro collected 242 hits, breaking a 91-year-old rookie record. He batted .350, stole 56 bases, and played outfield defense with wizard-like skill. That year, he became only the second player in baseball history to win both Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season. But more than the numbers, Ichiro changed how fans experienced the game. His presence felt spiritual, his preparation sacred. He approached each at-bat with a ritual that became iconic. The tug at the sleeve, the bat raise, the moment of focus. He didn't play baseball, he meditated through it. Children copied his stance. Adults arrived early to watch batting practice. Ichiro made people fall in love with baseball all over again. He followed that iconic rookie year with a decade of brilliance. In 2004, he broke another record. This time, George Sisler's 84-year-old mark of 257 hits in a season. Ichiro recorded 262. Every single hit felt monumental. And when he broke the record, with tears in his eyes and the crowd on its feet, the moment became immortal. It was more than a personal milestone. It was a global celebration. For 10 straight seasons, Ichiro reached 200 hits, a feat never accomplished in the game's long, decorated history. He earned 10 Gold Gloves, 10 All-Star selections, and batted over .300 in each of those seasons. He was a model of consistency, a living metronome of greatness. In 2012, recognizing the twilight of his playing days, Ichiro made one more bold move. He accepted a trade to the New York Yankees, pursuing a final dream, a World Series title. Though that ultimate prize eluded him, his time in the Bronx was marked by clutch performances and quiet leadership. Even in his late 30s, he remained a force, disrupting pitchers, mentoring teammates, earning respect. As the years passed, Ichiro's journey brought him to Miami and ultimately back to Seattle. In 2019 at the Tokyo Dome, Ichiro took the field one final time. The stadium swelled with emotion. As he bowed to the fans and walked away from the game, the world bowed with him. It was not just a farewell, it was a salute to a legend. Across NPB and MLB, Ichiro compiled 4,367 hits, more than any professional player in history. In MLB alone, he recorded 3,089 hits, a .311 batting average, 117 home runs, 509 stolen bases, and a defensive resume that solidified him as one of the best right fielders ever. And in 2025, the ultimate honor arrived. Ichiro Suzuki was officially inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Surrounded by legends, standing before thousands of fans and his peers, Ichiro spoke humbly, reflecting on the journey that began in a backyard cage and ended in baseball's most sacred cathedral. The crowd roared as he bowed once more in quiet gratitude. It was the final punctuation mark on a career that had already transcended numbers. But Ichiro's impact goes far beyond plaques and statistics. He changed the way teams evaluate talent. He opened doors for international players. He showed that success didn't require brute strength. It required vision, discipline, and authenticity. He taught fans that greatness comes in many forms. Perhaps Ichiro's greatest legacy is that he stayed true to himself in a world that constantly demanded change. He trusted his craft. He honored his roots. That 7-year-old boy in the backyard cage didn't just become a star. He became a global icon. Ichiro Suzuki didn't just play baseball. He elevated it into art. And in doing so, he reminded the world that the most beautiful swings are the ones that never compromise.